Hello, everyone, and welcome to the TokuPortal podcast for Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. I am Vashi V, and joining me today is...
Decade.
And Rye.
And today we're talking about episode 29. So, it's going to be a kind of low episode, as we saw from the preview. But we open with this little toy dinosaur that's in a pile of trash, and it's kind of making crying noises. And Crayon thinks he's found something pretty weird. But Kanalo is helping this woman recycle old electronics. Her name's Yui. And now we can see that she's actually Toku veteran. She played Akiko in Kamen Rider Double. But they seem to hit it off pretty well. And later he tells Mosa Rex that they're getting married, but he had to promise her that he can't do anything dangerous, aka fight. So he's conflicted. Then Mosa Rex detects an enemy nearby, but it's just Nara who's washing his hands. Very clever, Mosa Rex. And Nara tells Kanalo that he should just quit being a Ryusoulger. And then we get the opening. Thoughts?
So, I can't be the only one that thought that the little toy dinosaur was some kind of Kishiryu, right?
Honestly, that's what I thought.
As for Kanalo and Akiko, I'm glad, he actually found someone he can relate to who's has the same kind of ideals and ethics as him. It was very interesting that Masa Rex's intuition told him that Nada was an enemy. And that even when Kano said, oh, he's just of the Land Ryuso tribe, Masa Rex was still huh? Though, the real suspicious part of that is the fact that Nada just straight up invited himself into this conversation and knew what to stick his hands in the water.
I could have let that pass as what they were kind of going for. At least, enough to trick the kids. Any of the adults watching are clued in on what's up. But if they would have fleshed out the, Masa Rex being as distrusting of the Landria soldiers as he was to start with, if that wouldn't have been resolved so quickly, I could have brushed that off as, oh, well, it's an enemy because it's my enemy. Because, that whole fuck the land tribe. That would have fit better, and that's kind of what they were going for with the whole, no, he's just of the land tribe, you're good. I think if that had been fleshed out a little bit more, that would have played a little better. And not been as super fucking obvious as it is. I mean, in fairness, it was super fucking obvious at the end of the last episode, but, I don't know, I think that could have played out a little bit better. But my god, do I love Akiko in this episode. I've missed her more than I want to admit I have, apparently. Her character in this is there's not a lot of humor with her character. Actually, there's practically none aside from one little nod to Double, which is the slipper. And the fact that she mimics hitting something with it. She is fantastic in this role. And it's nice to see this side of her acting over the, over the top slapstick comedy-esque that was her character in Double. So to have this more drama-filled character, it's a nice change for her, and she pulls it off fantastically. She is a fantastic actress.
Now, Nada being suspicious, like having his ulterior motives aside, he is right. If Kanalo truly wants to be with this woman and he has to give up being a Ryusoulger to do it, then that's how it is. If that's Kanalo's decision, then I would encourage him to do that.
Like, and it makes sense too. I mean, going through just even personal relationships that I've had, and I'm sure other people have as well, this type of ultimatum isn't unheard of. I mean, the whole stipulation for it being marriage, yeah, but like the whole dating thing. I mean, there are deal breakers within every relationship, and trying to start them and stuff like that. So to have that is normal and makes sense, and not as advice, like where I said it's right. If that's the stipulation for this relationship to work out, then that's what you need to do to make this relationship work out. I mean, Kanelo's decision in the end and everything involved in the story is like it plays out perfectly well for as childish as this show can get sometimes. They did an excellent job with this entire plot. And while not as being an asshole for because he's Nada, apparently, he's not wrong. I mean, all of the help he's given has been legitimate help and has been right. It's just for ulterior motives.
He's trying to build them up to tear them down, and he's like doing it really good because he's actually building them up. Like he's, you know, giving good advice and opinions. When he snapped at Ko about Asuna, like, it seemed harsh, but he was right. There is no once more for Asuna's life.
Yep. So yeah, Black and Red are actually sparring with Meramera and Doshin Soul. Crayon is feeding Minosaur some garbage. That's what it likes to eat, apparently. And some ground attack. Then we get to see Ko and Bamba fight out of suit before transforming, which is always great. Seriously, can't think of a show that's done it better and more consistently. But yeah, Red attacks the Minosaur, but it emits poison gas when it's hurt. Black uses Mera Soul, but it does not do anything to the gas. Then Kanalo arrives, but he hesitates and doesn't transform. So bad guys get away, of course. Any thoughts before we go on?
Yeah, Bamba is practicing with Marisol. We didn't even know he had permission to use it.
They just kind of glossed right over that, which I'm fine with.
Like, they made the whole point about, oh, you can't use a Ryusoul if the Kishiryu doesn't acknowledge you. And so it kind of seemed like, okay, so Ko has Marisol because he was the one that, like, related to Dime Volcano and got him to trust them. At no point was it made clear that like any of them could use it because Dime Volcano accepted them. So we don't know if it's just Ko and Bamba or if it's all of them or what.
Like I'm hoping it's all of them, and I have a viable, like, you know, what Toei's kind of going, or at least the writer's kind of going with this. Most likely is enough time has passed that Dime Volcano's been able to observe the team through fights and whatnot, and has at least garnered respect for them in that manner. So, at which point Dime Volcano would let others use them, and it makes sense, and it's like a cheap explanation for it, but it's better than the one we got where yeah, we have no explanation. It just that this is a thing, just accept it and move on. Like this is one of those instances where not so much that was intentional, but the writers forget the rules of what they've written. And it happens all the time through any source of media over a long period of time. If you institute rules, and there are several writer series and Sentai series that have forgotten what the hell they were doing halfway through in terms of like this type of thing. So I'll give them this pass of they've been working together cohesively as a team. He's Demon Volcanoes at least warmed up to them all.
Yeah, and we can kind of say the same about Doshin Soul, because Shibigaru was kind of just hanging out with Ko, and he's the one that saved him. I think it's him. But then we see Blue and Pink use it, so
Like
yeah, they just acknowledge the Rangers overall, I guess.
like I can defend Melto if they wanted to do the whole, oh well, you're the ones who physically helped me, because Ko's the one who got him out of the well. Melto's the one who got him reunited with his dad.
Yeah.
So two very viable. Pink is just okay.
Chibigaru did say, "Hey, I've been waiting for this one," so maybe they acknowledged Asuna's monstrous strength.
Like in this particular instance, I'm pretty sure that all Chibigaru wanted to do was just punch the fuck out of somebody, and she was the one who asked.
Yeah, probably just depends on the Kishiryu as individuals too. But oh, you know what? That would kind of explain why Red was able to use 3 nights in the first episode just by himself. Maybe they all acknowledged him, so okay, now we're getting kind of off topic. But yeah, Kanalo is with Yui. She tells him that she didn't like how worried her mom was for her dad, who was a cop. So she doesn't want to go through that. Ko tells the others. Melto points out that the ocean tribe need to reproduce or they will go extinct. Which makes sense, they've been underwater for centuries.
And there's only 2 of them.
There might be more in the background.
Well, that we're aware of.
Yeah. But yeah, Ko decides to support him. So Kanalo sees this boy that's looking through the trash. He's looking for his toy dinosaur. The boy is sad because his toy, who he named Gao-kun, is his friend, not garbage. Kanalo sees Crayon and the Minosaur, and then he uses the Mia Soul and sees Gao-kun in the trash, who is actually the host. But he hesitates to act. So the 3 knights go in instead. And then the brothers get attacked by Geisorg. Any thoughts?
So, Kanalo, like, relating, like, seeing the struggle of the little kid who's like, oh man, but he was my favorite toy, he's not garbage. It's like, this is a conflict of Kanalo's ideals, is like, you know what, it would be wasteful to just throw a good toy away. But it's like, he can't go looking for it without getting involved, and it's like, it's the weirdest dilemma, but it plays right into Kanalo's character. Like, the actor does a great job too. Like when he realizes, oh man, to get that toy back, I do have to fight. But the promise I made, and just he doesn't even say anything. You can just see it all on his face. Uh,
Like he does fantastically. Um, I did like the fact that he initially went, well, it's trash. You're not gonna get it. That's the end of it. And then having seeing the kid so distraught over it and all that, and him going, that was a bad decision to say. I'm gonna help the kid. And then immediately running into Creon and the Minosaur God. Like it was a giant dilemma. Like I have no other word for it than what Ra used. Because initially it started the kind of, I don't have time for this. This has nothing to do with anything that we're doing as real soldiers or him getting married or anything. It was not something that he needed to deal with. But it was a crying kid, so he decided to help the kid. And then to have it go, fuck, I can't help the kid, or I'll ruin this with the marriage proposal and all that. Like, and like Bryce says, like he acts this phenomenally without saying a word. And I do like the fact that they gave a reason for Melto and Bomba to not be there. Because like I like when it's despite the fact that this is a 6-man team, I like the way that they've been dealing with the certain ones not being there and given valid reasons for it. Beyond, we don't have the money to film 13 people.
I kind of wish we would see where the brothers actually stay. That would be nice. But yeah, that's kind of fun. So Bamba recognizes Guy Sorg's swordsmanship. 3 knights fight off some grunts out of suit. Always awesome. They transform, but they can't stop the Minosaur from growing or spreading gas. Kishiryu Toriken can't stop it either. And apparently this is the first time we've actually seen it on its own and not just part of the 5 Knights finisher.
yeah, I forgot we hadn't seen it yet.
Like literally, if it wasn't pointed out in the sub that I watched, then yeah, I would never I wouldn't have realized it.
But that's cool. Kanalo approaches Yui. The guest from the Minosaur gathers in an orb. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, Gachalace is just making a huge bomb out of this poison gas. So he can kill everyone.
As you do.
Like to me, the best part of that was Creon's reaction to it was, oh man, this guy.
Yep. But yeah, Kanalo appears and transforms. We get his insert song, which is fun. Kind of has a shootout with Gachalace, which is okay, especially compared to the Lupat shootouts. But Gold tells Gaokun that Ayumu, which is the name of the boy, considers him as a friend and not trash, which actually causes it to start glowing, and they're able to defeat it without more gas spreading. But then the giant gas bomb explodes. Of course, Gold has Kurayami Soul and sucks it all up, and defeats Gachalace with the black hole attack. But he's still alive. That really should have just finished him right there. Come on, it's a black hole.
I'm just glad we got to see Kurayami Soul again.
Like yeah. I was glad to see it, and I will admit, when the explosion happened, I was searching the screen frame by frame to see if like that little ball escaping like it did the last time. And then it's just no, he just survived. I was like, oh damn it.
I'm just gonna
Sentai
stumble away.
rules.
I just got hit by a black hole. I'm gonna stumble away now. But yeah, Black uses Metal and actually knocks off Geisorg's helmet. It's not
Dun dun dun.
yeah.
Actually called it. I was wrong.
Of course I called it.
But he attacks with the finisher of his own and knocks the brothers down before disappearing.
He used a soul we haven't seen before as well, which is interesting.
Yeah, kind of gave him like a tornado attack. But Kanelo returns Gaokun to Aimu. Then he tells the others he was rejected. But we actually get a flashback. He's the one that told her that he can't keep his promise, but he will create a peaceful world for her so she won't have to worry. Pretty bittersweet, and yeah, she just walks away. Otto cheers of Kanelo, but immediately switches the subject and gives a little light blue Kishiryu to Melto from Mosarex, interestingly. And its name is Pitan, which sounds kind of funny to English speakers now that I think about it, but it's Pii Tan.
It's
And
fine.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what that thing turns into.
Well, if it was
Unless
an
you've
M,
seen
it
the
turned.
stands.
If it started with an M, it would turn into an idol,
Yes, yes,
and
it would.
Greece would be jealous. Real quick, I do want to make one comment about the initial fight that the three knights had. I love henshins like this. I love fight sequences like this where they start to transform like mid fight, but have to wait for an opening to actually complete it. I love when they do that. Like, because of that, to me, this was the best fight in all of Ryusoulger so far. And the fact that it got drawn out as long as it did for them to get the opening to do so, I think was awesome.
And I was wondering, I was saying like, so like, all right, so how is Kanelo not gonna get married next week? I actually hadn't guessed that. Like, well, I had a feeling like, oh, maybe he would call it off, but I didn't expect it to be so emotional. Where it's like he's had to make a tough decision between two of his biggest values, and ultimately he couldn't bring himself to not fight when he could make the world a better place through it.
Like I did the same thing. Is like I was waiting for that stupid moment of a reason. Which I mean they've been leading this whole thing to be kind of one long joke, with him basically falling for every woman who's married, engaged, or has absolutely no interest in him. But this was the last thing I was expecting. And it shows a ton of growth on his part. Because like Bryce says, like he's having to choose between in this particular instance the continuation of his real soul tribe and the protection of the earth. And it's seeing where that the priorities fall on that, and him accepting that and understanding that, hey, protecting the world at the moment is kind of a bigger deal. Not so much because he can't get married, like, but because his motivations for everything right now clashed with the I don't want to worry that you're gonna get hurt. And, it's Sentai, that's unavoidable when you're fighting giant monsters. So for him to have that realization and to back off the marriage thing, especially it being his choice rather than him going, yeah, I'll marry you, but I'm still gonna have to do this. And he could have played it out to where him his decision is understandable to continue fighting, and that she could have made a concession to work with that, given the the magnitude of why he fights. But the fact that he just went, yeah, no, I'm sorry, the fighting takes precedence over getting married in this instance because I can't do what you want, shows a multitude of growth on his character in terms of understanding what he's doing and why he's doing it, and also understanding the feelings and motivations of, in this particular case, the woman that he fell in love with, and not wanting to hurt her in that aspect of, I don't want you to worry about me, so I can't accept that. And I'm not going to try and sway you or force you to accept that I'll continue fighting. So it shows an amazing amount of character in him.
Yep, pretty noble. Um, Overall, yeah, it's another solid episode. Just kind of getting tired of Getchelace, but we'll see how long they drag him out. He's kind of like a dangerous zombie at this point.
Yeah, we're kind of back on him again, and it doesn't feel great.
The only aspect I like about it is apparently Waizaru just fucked off again. Like, Gadgelae showed up, and Waizaru called him out on his shit, and then Waizaru went, I'm guessing, just basically went, well, fuck your shit. Go get your ass kicked again. Watch.
But this does mean that we are getting like the rotating generals, just not necessarily because one dies.
Right. It's not the way we expected it. And even so, it's like, this episode was, to me, this was the best episode of the entire season so far. And damn, not entirely looking forward to the way the path seems to be going for next week's episode. Hopefully it turns out better than I'm anticipating.
I don't remember what next week's episode is going to be.
Oh no, let's make Nada's really not a bad guy. Let's sway his heart. Yeah, it's that. It's that storyline again.
But we just got started on Nada's story.
Uh-huh. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I've seen this before. I'm hoping that it's gonna end horribly. Because, damn it, let there stay an evil fucking character. Nada does not need to be a good guy. It's been a while since we've had this evil character who's human with ranger-like powers who stayed evil. It always comes down to let's turn him into a good guy because that's what America did for the Green Ranger. I understand that's not the reason, but to me, that's the first notable thing, noticeable time that I've seen it. It's like, I want him to stay evil for his entire run.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying he can't be redeemed at the end, but like, he's just getting started. Don't don't stop now.
Right. Like for me, it's like if you're gonna do this,
Commit
do
to
it the
it.
way do it the way you did Scorpio in Q Ranger. Let the last episode or two be a like redemption thing. But let his arc play out with him evil, for the love of God. Mainly because I don't want them to have to write in an explanation for why the armor jumped ship to somebody else. Or how something that's been shown to be evil through this and the super battle royal thing that can just is just pure evil and will jump from person to person just doesn't happen. Because it's either going to be it finds a new host and we're going to have to sit through that explanation, or all of a sudden it's good and it's no explanation of why it stopped jumping. Just let him be evil to the end. And then if you're going to redeem him, then give him the redemption. It's like I think trying to do it now is jumping the shark way too early for his arc.
Yeah, like it's just getting good. Don't stop too soon.
Because I mean, it's like him just coming out as being Guy Sorg, to have it immediately jump the next episode to we're going to save you. I think is too quick. But I guess we've reached the end.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for more Kamen Rider Zero One, and next Tuesday for more Ryusoulger. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow or next week. See you all next time.